Okay, hello. Reporting to you live from my house. We're not having class on Monday, September 15th because I am sick and I'm not going to bring you my germs. But I should be better by Wednesday since I just have a cold, and I'll probably wear a mask just in case. But we were supposed to learn about elements of design tomorrow in class and do some in-class writing. So instead, we're going to do a modified version of this from a distance and forgive my voice. Okay, so really quick, I'm going to blitz through the elements of design and explain what I want you to do for your short prompt, and then that will be it. So bear with me. Okay. So the first element of design that you might want to use for your visual analysis is contrast, which is literally just big differences between objects or elements, or even colors. So this can happen through size, value, texture, color. So a really obvious one is light and dark, as you can see in this image here. You have a high contrast and low contrast. If you put these images side by side, one is grayed out and like nulled, and one is bright and vivid, even though they're both black and white. So this can also happen if you have something big and you have something small. That's contrast. It can also happen with textures. So contrast, that's a word you can use in your visual analysis. Emphasis, this is where something stands out and the subject's really noticeable. Here are a few examples where you can see a particular facet of the image because of its surroundings. So like a red umbrella and a sea of black umbrellas. Okay, movement is where lines, shape, or color direct the viewer's eye. So this movement principle, that's an optical movement that you see at the bottom, is like the most obvious version of this, and this won't happen in the images you're seeing. But what might happen in the images you're seeing is that you notice, for example, that like a road, which is a line, points towards something like a house, and that draws your attention to the house. Okay, that's movement that you might want to point out. Proportion could be a comparison or relationship, like a small object to a big object, like you can see with the balls, or the proportions of a building and how they compare to each other, like you can see in the other image. Balance is the distribution of weight. And the goal is stability and composition, and there's different kinds of balances. So like symmetrical, like perfect symmetry is where each side is even. In real life, a butterfly is not necessarily perfectly symmetrical, because they might have slight different variations. But in this faux butterfly you see here, you have perfect symmetry. Asymmetrical, like a tree, where you'd have one size be a little different shape than the other. Radial, like a tire, where each sector is even. And then crystallographic, which is the different kinds of balance, but again, not totally even per se, yet stable, if not even. Okay, background is where you notice what's in the back. So here, even though our person standing is closer to us and easy to see, the mountains are still noticeable and contextual. That's our background versus foreground, which is what's closest to us and the focal point that draws our attention. So like the sunflower here is the main focus, and everything else is less obvious to us. Color could be the use of primary, secondary, or tertiary colors, or the strategic use of colors to evoke information or convey information. And then you might want to think about color psychology, which you can Google, but a quick overview is that like red is, people say, is passion, pink is either soft or reserved, purple is for mystery or nobility, blue is for wisdom or peace, green is for nature or growth, yellow is for joy or danger, orange is for warmth and kindness, white is for truth or indifference, black is for noble or mystery, but can also be cold or sad. Most people associate black with sadness, according to polls. Okay, framing is the way the image is perceived because of its elements. This is the placements working together, but a frame can also be when natural elements of the image frame it. So like you can see here, the gate frames the city and the leaves frame the chateau in the background. Texture are different textures in an image itself. So that might be like actual physical textures. It could also be the pixels. So something you might want to pay attention to in your image for your visual analysis is if the image is crystal clear or pixelated or blurry. And in the images I provided you, you might want to double check by Google searching that the image I gave you on Moodle is the same quality as one you find on Google, because it's possible that images have been corrupted over time because I have copied them from like canvas to canvas to canvas to Moodle. Okay, depth could be a visual representation of distance, understanding of the scene, and perception. So like at the bottom image here, we have like these rows of lavender, but it also could be like 2D and 3D. So you can see a 2D drawing, where it's not realistic. This is what we think of as like cartoonish because there's no, even though cartoons can be 3D, as you can see in this image, there's no tangible depth like people. And then 3D are when you fill it out. So like we are living in 3D, so I don't actually know if we're living in 4D, but the 3D is that depth. The 2D is like flat on paper, basically. But you can see in the 2D image that with shading and stuff, you still give depth. It's just not the same as a 3D depth. Okay, so what you're going to do on Moodle is you have 3 images to choose from for this activity. These are 3 famous photographs. Migrant Mother, American Gothic, the photograph, not the painting, and Babe Ruth Bows Out. You're just going to pick one of these 3 famous photographs and write 150 words about the image. You'll go back and you'll pick 2 of the elements of design I just blitzed through. And you don't need to make an argument or have a thesis, though of course you can if you want to. All you're going to do is for that 150 words, you're going to write an image description and pay really close. Sorry, that's my dog. Pay really close attention to detail, and ask yourself which 2 elements of design do I want to talk about, and what do these elements of design do? Oh my gosh. And do they make me feel anything? What's the pathos of it? And that's it. 150 words should blitz by. So you're just practicing the image description portion, integrating elements of design. That's it. Okay, and you're going to submit that to Moodle, and that will count as your class. You'll get points for it. It's attendance. Check, check, check. And that way we don't miss any core class material, even though I have to miss class tomorrow because I'm sick. Okay, have a great day, a great first part of your week, and I will see you in class on Wednesday. And apparently my dog wanted to tell you hello. Bye.